Hey everyone, and welcome back to Nariah Speaks. Today's episode is really special to me because it is dropping on the first day of fall. So happy fall, everyone. And fall has always kind of reminded me of love, the kind that changes you, teaches you, sometimes slips away like the leaves drifting from a tree. And as I thought about this season of change, the song Why Do Fools Fall in Love by Frankie Lyman had came to me. And ever since I was thinking about this song, I was asking myself the same question, like why do we fall in love? Why do we fall so hard? Even when we know it might hurt. Why do we give so much of ourselves to love, knowing it might not even last? Maybe it's because falling in love is as natural as the seasons changing. We can't always explain it. We don't even see it coming, but we feel it. We can feel when the seasons are going to change. We live it. We grow through it. We change our outfits for it. We have to dress a little warmer now. We have to, change the way things are. So on this first day of fall, I want to talk about love, the kind that makes us brave, teaches us sacrifice, and the kind that shapes who we are. And I'm going to share a little bit. I'm going to give fake names just because I don't want to violate anybody else's privacy. When I think about the song, I think about Mateo. This person showed me how powerful and overwhelming love could be. It was intense, it was consuming, it was tumultuous, it was dramatic. It was my first love, and it came with some of my hardest lessons. I remember after we separated and broke up, I didn't even know who I was, what I liked to do. I lost so much of myself in that relationship. But on the opposite side, I want to say I found so much of myself after that relationship. I didn't really know what I liked to do. Yeah, I lost sleep. I was exhausted, but I couldn't sleep after we separated. I would feel my chest hurting, like I could feel my heart breaking. Very dramatic, like I said. And I would like look outside the window just to be like, is he coming home? Is he coming home? I would call over and over, no answer. I would send paragraph texts, no response. Oh, I love this for me now. Because it's, like I said, some of my hardest lessons. But man, I am so glad he was such an a-hole to me. Because I just feel so justified in loving myself that much more. And I feel like that's a lot of what those lessons are sometimes. But that's for another episode. There was also Adrian. And this person showed me the kind of love that felt sweet, nostalgic, easy like Sunday morning, like a season in my life that was super beautiful while it lasted. But I knew that there was only but a matter of time before I had to let it go. There was a matter of circumstances, just a matter of not meeting a certain standard that I set for myself after Mateo that I decided I would no longer deal with. Like with Mateo, we used to argue a lot, and I've come to the realization now at this point in my life that was okay back then, I guess. I don't think it's ever okay, but I guess that was okay back then. I can't see myself in that type of relationship right now or being like, this is what I want for the rest of my life. Absolutely not. I'm good, basura. I'm good, love and joy. But with Adrian, I guess it was the baggage. I guess it was a matter of some people just don't take time to heal from their past relationships. And you can tell the minute that you get into that situation. And so there were leftover things that I did not want to have to take into consideration. Family ties, exes, stuff like that. So wasn't into it. So I knew that eventually it would be time to love you, but I see you somewhere in another lifetime, I guess. Looking back, I can definitely admit that I loved recklessly. I gave without hesitation, and sometimes it felt like I was being foolish. I can admit that. But every love, in my opinion, no matter how it ended, it taught me something. It showed me how deeply I was able to feel, how hard I love. It taught me the difference between sacrifice that builds me up, sacrifice that tears me down. And a lot of the time as we grow, we realize like love isn't even about the butterflies or the late night conversations or what that person can do for you or what kind of dates you guys have gone on. It's not about how well you get along with the other person's family. I think that real love takes sacrifice. It asks us to give parts of ourselves, our time, our comforts, our pride. Yes, pride is a big one. Your ego. Let's get rid of that too. In the name of building something greater than just us. And the truth is, like, not every sacrifice is worth it. I know I've given in ways that left me feeling empty. I remember when I was just a teenager, just giving. I had nothing to give. I didn't even have a job, but there's ways that you could give that leave you feeling empty. I felt bent. I felt stretched. And I poured everything out. Everything. I'd get on that floor and just break down and cry right in front of this man. It was very embarrassing now that I think about it. And that love just never met me halfway. Never. I'm talking about paragraph after paragraph text, call after call. I'm talking about he didn't answer the call. I'm about to be on my way. I'm getting in the car right now. And maybe you've been there too. They call that crashing out. I don't know. But that's the lesson. Learning the difference between sacrifice that grows us and sacrifice that drains us. Between giving because it's love and giving because you're afraid to be left behind or to let go. There's a difference. I don't think that we're fools for the sacrifices we've made. We were just showing the depth of our love. What I've learned is this. Real love doesn't even take without giving back. I think real love is you want to reciprocate when you actually love somebody. You don't want to feel like they're just giving to you and giving to you and you're not giving anything in return. You always want to feel like you're bringing to the table. Hell, if you are the table, then be the table, And true sacrifice and love feels mutual. Like the balance of seasons, one giving way to the next, each one offering something to the other. Every season for a reason. And like they say, like some people come into your life for a season, for a reason, and for a lifetime, right? And understanding that too, like not feeling salty and bitter once it's over. I think real love just understands. Real love is understanding. There's no way that you're going to be committed to misunderstanding somebody that you love. So even with my examples of love that I brought, I think that was love in its time, I guess you can say. But if you was to ask me now, I would say no, I don't think that was love. So for me, moving forward, it's about being intentional. I don't believe in withholding love or even refusing to sacrifice because that's just not who I am. But I do believe in being careful about who I sacrifice for. Understanding that there are people out here that are gaslighting, that are love bombing, that are narcissists, that want you to always feel like everything is your fault, always pointing the finger, playing the blame game. It never gets old for them. They love it. They live for it. The wrong person will drain you. The right person will meet you halfway. Love will always require us to give up something. Maybe our pride, maybe our ego, maybe our fears, maybe even our comfort sometimes. Sometimes you got to move from where you were, right? But it literally should never cost us our entire identity. That is where you have to understand codependency is not love. Not trusting someone is also not love. And just like the leaves in the fall teach us about letting go, we have to release the loves that took more than they gave, right? They're not healthy. And then, like I said in the last episode, when we make room, something new always comes. Just like new leaves in the spring, right? Spring. I'm a spring baby. So I love the springtime. Oh my goodness. So if you're still waiting, like I am, don't regret the sacrifices you've made. They were proof of your courage, proof of your heart. Just know that the next time your sacrifices will be matched. And manifest that. And that's when love becomes something worth holding on to. I also find it really, really interesting. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Why Do Fools Fall in Love, but it is one of my favorite movies. I started watching it when I was like, I don't know, 9 years old. I've watched it so many times, it's not even funny. Why Do Fools Fall in Love is one of my favorite movies. And it goes into how Frankie Lyman was a different version of himself for every relationship he was in. And he was the best man for his last wife, to be quite honest. I think for like the first and second, he had a drug addiction. For one of them, he was a big liar. He still missed his ex. He didn't really want to be with the person he was with. Very different versions of himself in every relationship. And I remember the person that I thought loved him the most, she got the worst version of him. It kind of stood out to me, like drop. Anyways, you gotta watch it. Please watch it and kind of see how you could relate it to yourself too. Like maybe ask yourself, like, how does this actually relate to me, and how can I make this relate to me? Because there's always something to take away from somebody else's story. In every single person's story, there's always something that you can learn. So if there's one thing I want you to take away from today's episode, it's that falling in love doesn't make us fools, for one. I definitely think that it makes us brave. It means we were willing to risk our hearts in a world that often tells us to just guard your heart, protect your heart. That's what they say all the time. And I do think that you should protect your heart, but you were so brave to even be willing to risk your heart. Every love that we've experienced, including the ones that broke us, the ones that taught us, the ones that slipped away, like the last warm days of the summer, they all serve a purpose. They shape us, they prepare us, they teach us. And even if we haven't found that lasting love yet, we're closer now because now we know what we won't accept and what we truly actually deserve, right? The time that you are single is the time that you fall in love with yourself. So I encourage you, if you are single and you're listening to this podcast, take the time to fall in love with yourself. And if you are in a relationship and you've been in a relationship, take the time to acknowledge how much you are loving yourself. Because once you're in a union, you're sharing so much of yourself. You have to share your time. You have to be more considerate. You're sharing energy. You're sharing everything, right? Because like maybe I worked a 12-hour shift and I don't necessarily want to talk to anybody. But if I'm in a relationship, I have to make sure that I'm taking the time to check in with my significant other, not just completely neglecting them just because I don't feel like it. Not being selfish when you're in a union. I do remember there was a time where I had a relationship and we were living together. And I would be like, this is mine, I paid for this, I paid for that, I'm taking this, I'm taking that. And he would be like, this is mine, this is mine. And I remember a family member actually said to me one time, neither one of you should be saying this is mine. Everything should be ours. It should no longer be mine, his, hers, right? Unless you're talking about your side of the closet, that's completely different. But I'm talking about when it comes to sharing a life together. You're sharing your life. So why don't you just share? Why do you have to be selfish with certain things? Like I said, that also was a teaching lesson for me because now I know me living with someone or getting married with someone, I understand now selfishness has to fly out the window, literally, like throw it out the window. Can't be there anymore. Like it just does not exist. It's never going to work like that. You see yourself as an individual person when you're actually in a union. You're confusing yourself. You're confusing the energy. But that's for another time. So, as I was saying, my hope for you is that you don't stop believing in love. Don't let the heartbreaks convince you that love isn't worth it. Don't let your ex make you feel like you're not worthy of love or that you won't find better. Because just like the seasons, love has a way of coming back around. And one day it will make sense. So if this episode resonated with you, please share it with someone who needs the reminder that love, even when it feels foolish, is still worth it. Thank you for listening. Until next time, keep your heart open and keep choosing love.